Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Homology Podcast, a weekly conversation with your HVAC team here at Vertex Mechanical. We hope you'll laugh with us, maybe learn something new, and be inspired.
Good.
No, we're not violent people here.
No, we are not.
Sarcastic people.
We just got done talking about Thanksgiving, so
That's right, we did just get to talk about Thanksgiving. Well, welcome back everybody to another edition of our Homology Podcast. We brought along the technical expert today, which is...
Oh, geez.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure. Our sales manager, Nathan Foster. Hi, Nate.
Hey,
How you doing?
good. How are you?
Just great, thank you.
I gotta say, whenever I get to do these, it's like a highlight of my day.
Excellent.
there we
I don't
go.
like anything more than this.
How was your
It's fun.
Thanksgiving?
How's my Thanksgiving? I think it was good. It was good.
Nice.
Sorry.
Okay.
Got a lot going on.
Vince had no Thanksgiving memories or traditions to share. Do you have Thanksgiving memories or traditions?
Oh, I do.
Do you?
Yeah, it's kind of like an argument in our house right now because so my fiance and I were like early on, just got engaged about a month ago.
Congratulations.
So, 2 months ago.
Do you want to share your registry with our viewers so they
Yeah, absolutely. That'd be fantastic. Yeah, Windows is probably at the high up on the list. Anyway, so right now she like always went to her grandparents' house and like had everything with her family, and now it's like when I was growing up, I always went. My parents had that. It was my mom's big thing, and so now we're kind of in like a. Do we go to your grandparents? Do we go to my parents? So this is kind of just
A little dicey right now.
Yeah, a little dicey,
Okay.
yep.
All
Wait
right.
till you get to Christmas.
Yeah, we got that figured out. That one got figured out.
That
It's
was
just
the
this
hard
whole
one for
Thanksgiving
us.
thing, but no, it's good.
Good. Well, we're glad that you're here.
I'm glad to be here.
This is our monthly edition of Stump the Yunt, which in this case we just thought we'd better make sure we can answer this question. So we asked you to come and join us. And the question this week is one that we've pondered a little bit in the past, and it is about the size and capacity of the systems that we might install in your home. And it goes like this: isn't bigger always better? And so the idea is that when we're, whether that's a retrofit, meaning that you're taking out an old piece of equipment, putting in a new one, or this could be new construction, why not simply buy the biggest unit to make sure I've got enough of what I need? But it's my understanding that that is not the way you process the effectiveness of a system. So that's
Certainly.
the question from our viewers today. Is bigger always better when it comes to our HVAC system? Go.
No.
That's the simple answer. Good. Okay.
Yeah,
Good.
good.
We're done.
Wrap it up.
Good podcast.
No, yeah. So anyway, I mean, we probably need to go a little bit farther into that, but the short answer is no. It's just bigger is not always better because of a lot of different things.
Sure.
So when we look at comfort in a home, we need to look at a lot of different variables. So we don't just need to look at temperature. We also need to look at humidity and efficiency and the way that it operates.
Now let's
So-
pause for a minute because you mentioned a number of key factors there.
Yep.
And again, just for our viewers, we are in Pennsylvania, which can experience 100-degree differences in temperatures from winter to summer, and going from near 100% humidity environmentally to dry as a bone air in the wintertime. So when we're caring for customers' homes here in Pennsylvania, it can be rather extreme in the demand that's being put on systems.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so continue, Vince, a little bit. Sorry. As it relates, because you are the Mr. Yunt, so we want to. So bigger is not always better.
Right.
Talk a little bit about what you are processing and evaluating when you are considering a system.
Yeah, so you mentioned the one thing, and there's one very key piece to the comfort inside of a home, and that has to do with humidity. If you don't drive humidity down, you can make it 70 degrees in a house. But if the humidity is high, it's going to feel like you're walking into a walk-in refrigerator. It's going to be very clammy. It's going to be cold. The other thing elevated humidity does is it grows unwanted things that we don't, we don't like to even talk about. But your molds, mildews, those types of things.
Yeah.
Biological growths is what we use as a term.
That's the term.
So, but anyway, in those higher humidity levels, you do actually bring up that risk significantly.
Sure.
So when you oversize a piece of equipment or you go too large with a piece of equipment, what ends up happening is the system runs for these short bursts, and in that, it's not really dehumidifying. As that unit runs, the indoor unit's actually taking the water away from the space, taking the humidity out. And so the longer we have that thing running, the better it is. And you know, we will have, when we design systems, we design with that in mind.
Sure.
And we are much more satisfied with a 100-degree day, which is outside of our norms, but hot enough that nobody wants to walk into a 75 or 78-degree house. But we tried to re-educate that and say, no, you know what? You are going to be okay with a 75-degree house with 40% humidity when it's 100 degrees out and it's 85, 90% humidity. You're going to walk in your house into incredible comfort, and you're going to be okay with that. We're also okay with when it gets over 90 degrees outside. We're okay with the unit just doesn't shut off. It just runs 100%, 24/7 because it's trying its best. As long as we're maintaining low humidity and a temperature that's comfortable, we would consider that system properly designed.
Good.
Yeah, and just one thing to kind of rolling off of that too, like you said about constantly turning on, turning off, and this what we call technically short cycling is what we call it. When we look at that on a whole scale, and that's where we kind of roll into efficiency. So if we can take this piece of equipment and we can just run it for a little bit longer periods of time at lower speeds instead of starting it up and shutting it down, that's where a lot of your energy consumption comes from. That's where it starts costing a lot.
Right, and there is a solution for that. And Nate, why don't you tell us what the solution is to get the best of both worlds?
I think I might have accidentally said that without getting there. But so the solution to that is we look at multi-stage equipment.
That's good.
I would say probably 95% of my day going in and out of customers' homes, we do not at least have the conversation about multi-stage equipment. That being two-stage in completely variable from 30% all the way up to 100% in 5% increments. So we're kind of like getting closer and closer. So like I like to relate it to like car analogies a lot. So it would be like typical air conditioning system where it comes on and shuts down. That would be like getting in your car and when you have a stop sign 15 feet down the road, going all the way full 100% on the accelerator and then coming to a complete stop. So that's a lot what like single stage equipment does. Two stage, we get a little bit farther. So now we can at least have two speeds. So now you only have to go 50% to get to the stop sign 15 feet down the street.
That's good.
And then inverter systems where we talk about that, we can go, that's where you get full gas pedal. You're getting as much acceleration or as much deceleration as you need.
That's really good.
Absolutely.
That's what's really, really neat. And sometimes that helps customers understand a little bit more on what's actually going on inside that air conditioning system or anything really.
So if we have a customer that, and this is a question that we'll ask, what is the importance to you on a 100-degree day that your house is maintaining whatever temperature you like? If they say, hey, it's absolutely imperative that you meet 70 degrees on a 100-degree day, what's a 30-degree split indoor to outdoor? The only offering we have for them is probably oversizing a 5-ton unit with an inverter. Because we know that inverter is going to also scale all the way down to be a 1.5-ton unit if it has to. So on that 80-degree day or 78-degree day outside with lower humidity, it's still going to get the ample runtime. And it's going to do the job it's supposed to.
It's going to give you exactly how much heating or cooling that you actually need.
That's right.
Not how much it thinks you need.
That's really good.
That's how I like to say it.
So this is a really amazing discussion, and one of the reasons that we wanted to bring this up is because annually, our customers are asking and beginning to process. We actually talked about this a few weeks ago, Vince, when we discussed, is it time to repair or replace a system? And one of the key things to consider when repairing or replacing is you actually may have a system currently in your home that is oversized or undersized. And so if you've been processing that question perhaps at all, you've been thinking about, is it time to do something different? Please, give us a call because Nate would love to come out and process like what is the right system for your space. And again, if your system is 12, 14, 15 years old, the way technology has improved as well over the last decade means that we can put in your home a system that's going to be so much more efficient, superior by far in efficiency, and it'll fit you really well. So.
And one thing I'll say to this real quick, and I know that I'm probably going to be a little bit on some of my colleagues are going to probably have a problem with the statement I'm about to make, but it comes down to doing heat load calculations inside of a home. We can do computer-generated heat load calculations, which are very, very helpful. They can get us all the answers we need based upon the information we're feeding it. So if you can for real tell me exactly what the U value is on your windows and the R value is in your walls and the R value in your ceiling, and we have all that really accurate information, I can plug that into the computer and it's going to give me really accurate information back, and that's very, very helpful. We can make a lot of decisions. The fact of the matter is we struggle with getting accurate information, so the information we're putting in is potentially we're just guessing a little bit based upon the age of the house and what we see in construction quality. So we get around this problem, I think, much more accurately by actually asking the customer, what is it that actually, how has your system operated over the past, whatever it is, 5, 10, 15 years, and tell us about the problems it's had. So do you have a hot spot upstairs? Do you have a cold spot downstairs?
Yeah, that's good.
How does it do on a 100-degree day?
Really
is it falling behind? Is it actually conditioning? Because if you're going to tell me that your house is making 70 degrees on a 100-degree day and shutting down, my first reaction is probably to downsize.
Yeah.
And so that's going to be something that we're going to look at. And so we get a lot better and a lot more accurate information by asking the customer certain questions than we do get off of heat load calcs. So to people out there that are out, making the decision, do I want to do this? Don't make the assumption that just because a salesman's giving you a heat load calculation that there is the end all. Because I would throw out some questions in that as to, well, how did you gather all the information that's necessary for us to get this?
Yeah.
Sweet. That's really helpful, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. And if you have questions that you would like to have processed on our monthly episode, please send them to contact@vertex-mechanical.com. We'll also put up a link for you for Nate's gift registry for his wedding.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. I'd
Or
appreciate
windows.
that.
You said you want new windows.
Yeah. We could all just combine and
pitch
go
in
for
and
that.
go for the windows.
Yeah, that'd be great. Yep.
Well, thanks so much for your time. We hope this was informative and enjoyable for you to join us. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thanks, Nate, for being here.
Certainly.
Have a good rest of your week.
See you next week.
Hey, thanks again for joining us today. As always, we hope you enjoyed your time with us and that you'll return again next week. And if you need to get a hold of us, just visit vertex-mechanical.com to call or email.